Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome back to the Rise Up Morning Show 2026. For the very first time, let me say today is Monday. No, it's not Monday.
It's not Monday. It feels like Monday. It's Thursday.
It's the one that threw me off. It feels like a Monday.
Job.
It's Thursday. Yeah, that's right. Because tomorrow's Friday, which is weird. Because today's a federal holiday, so it's like, you think people are also going to work tomorrow? What are you talking about? Tomorrow is also a federal holiday, all right?
Absolutely.
Every day is Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. Unless you're European, in which case I don't think you work.
I was saying backstage about the fake radio show that this show is low budget, high signal. It's fun, though, and we're glad that you're here with us because this is your place for helpful crypto news, commentary, answers to your questions. And so we're here to do what we always do. Even though it's a new year, it's the same show that you know you love. Just 30 minutes later, we didn't have the budget to start on time. But we are here with you now. Will, Alex, how was the rest of your year? Did you end 2025 with a bang?
Of your year. Well, we were just talking about last night, right? Yeah, last night was good. The rest of my year from the last time we talked was good. I had a couple friends come over early because some plans fell through later in the night. So I just had a few people come on over and we just drank a bunch of Guinness, partook in some chill things as well, and then played a lot of Switch too. So we played Mario Kart and then just kind of got a little bit messed up while playing Mario Kart, which is great because that is drunk driving that is acceptable and also fun for all. And I had a great time with that. And then went to dinner with one of my other really good buddies and his long-term girlfriend, and had just like an amazing dinner. If anyone is in Boston and wants to go to a restaurant that's right in the middle of the city and everything is good, I tell everybody go here. Faccia on Newberry Street. Literally every single item on the menu is at the very least good to amazing. Faccia on Newberry Street. And then
Wait, two Faccias?
Two Faccias. F-O-C-C-I-A. And also the interior is very nice and the staff's great. It's a wonderful place. And then went to a bar, got a couple martinis, and then went home. And one of my other buddies came over. We watched the ball drop. And then fireworks are right off of my balcony on the Boston Harbor. And watched that and went, yeah, New Year's, and went to bed.
Nice. Alex, what about you?
I think I had my oldest New Year's Eve yet, wherein I did stay up, but it was on accident. I didn't realize that midnight had come and gone, and all of a sudden it was like 12:20 and everyone was texting me. It's like, oh shit, I missed it. I also was just slightly inebriated.
Slightly.
But then most of the evening was just doing like the, although this year was better. This year was better than it usually is. I don't know why it didn't hit them as much, but usually you spend the whole time just like managing a bunch of anxiety and panic attacks in your fleet of dogs who are extremely upset about the fireworks. So I don't know. I don't know why it didn't seem. Usually Echo is the one who like really hates it. It just ruins his whole night. You have to like try to play music, and you end up just like sitting there with him the entire time because he's like just losing it. And this time he barked like once or twice, and they were definitely going off. But I don't know. I think they're building a house right next to us, and he's been listening to just like the nail gun for like the last 3 weeks. And I don't know, it's, sounds similar maybe. I don't know. It's the only, maybe exposure therapy finally worked because it wasn't isolated. I don't know. But it was good. Overall it was good. We went out and got some dinner. One of Christina's friends, yesterday was her birthday, so she was over and we were celebrating and doing all that stuff. And then they attempted to go to the bars, but the Tybee Bar Scene is limited. Not your typical bar scene. So that didn't last very long.
You can explain the joke. What's not typical about it?
Oh, it's just, it's like a very tiny little like alien planet here. So you go to a bar and it's either just like all of the locals crammed into one place and they're all very angry because there's extra tourists on the island, or it's just, it's just like overrun by tourists. And New Year's Eve we were slammed last night. It was very crowded.
Hey man, it's not as old as a couple of people I saw. I saw a couple of folks. I went out to see two of our friends. Usually Kim and I go see like a band or something, but two of our friends were doing a limited kind of thing, acoustic, but this place was packed. And as it got closer to midnight, people started leaving, and I was like, you stayed out all night, but you're going to miss the big part.
You got to miss the traffic.
Gonna miss the traffic. But I don't know, it's Collierville, which if you're listening, it's like, there's nothing. The traffic was dear. So let us know how your New Year was. A lot of folks are sharing. Bearded drove to San Francisco and bought a motorcycle. I like that. He says much
Bearded,
better than what I planned to do.
What is it?
Bearded, you gotta let me know. You gotta let us know what motorcycle.
Gotta tell us what bike you bought. And I've seen the New Year's wishes rolling in. I think it might have been Angel who said, my New Year's wish this year is for an altcoin bull run. If you've got a wish, let us know.
Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be just swell?
Will, can you conjure some hopium by drawing squiggly lines on charts?
God hates us.
I'm going to take that as a no.
I could draw some squiggles. I certainly could.
Certainly could, but today I won't. Alex, have you made your joke yet? I feel like I've tried to set you up like 3 times.
For what?
What do you mean for what? For haven't seen you guys since last year.
Yeah. Ooh, Bearded, you got a road glide. That's a nice, comfortable ride. Also, you have like the radio feature come with it too, because it's big enough, and there's so much storage space on that too.
Beautiful.
Yep, that's a behemoth.
Yeah, we're gonna need a picture in the community, and if you want to see it, I'm talking, of course, about community.rumshq.com.
Dude, the road glide got me through a tropical storm. It was a Category 1 hurricane and a tropical storm. Yeah, from Miami to Fort Lauderdale. And the bridges between each island, I just like really had to crunch down on this road glide. And then the wind just came and blasted me because it wasn't getting stopped by the houses. And I was just like, ah! Okay. Ah!
That sounds like an adventure, man.
Yeah, it certainly was. I have some harrowing motorcycle stories. Every single time I'm on a motorcycle, there's a snowstorm, it's raining, it's hailing, there's a hurricane. I'm just like, what is happening? It's like the universe is telling me, stop riding motorcycles. And then my friend passed away on one, so I'm like, maybe I should stop riding motorcycles. It's like, but they're fun.
Yeah, I have a desire. I would like to get mine like working properly this year, and but I don't think I could ever do anything on it more than just like fart around, because it's chopped into a cafe, because I just love the look.
Oh, nice. New cafe racer.
There's no like windscreen, there's no fenders, there's no nothing. So like, I'm not trying to take a bug at anything higher than 25 miles an hour.
Yeah, that hurts. It's kind of funny how much like bugs on your face can hurt when you're going like 60 miles per hour. It's just like,
I believe that.
as a cafe too, it's unbelievably uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But it looks so good. It's a 1976 Honda CB450.
Oh, wow. You have like cafe racer. You got like an old school.
What does a cafe mean? For those of you who don't know,
Alex, do you want to explain it?
Yeah, it's a specific style of motorcycle used in like tight quarters, like street racing. It was this very specific aesthetic. If I show you a picture of the cafe style racer.
Yeah, it started, if I remember, it was in the 50s or 60s, I believe, where it really started, like grease lightning, like that kind of time frame, where they just had these like small, like little bikes that just kind of like went around town from cafe to cafe. That's how they got the name Cafe Racer.
Got it.
Yep.
Leif in the comments says, yo, I had a CB 360.
I actually don't know what that one is.
So way to go.
This is a Honda. This is bigger than mine, but this is effectively like a much cleaner, more polished version of what my bike looks like.
That's pretty, man. That's very
pretty. I like it.
It's gorgeous.
I like it.
Once again, for people in podcast land, we're so sorry about it. Quick production update. We've decided not to change anything, so if you want to see the visuals, then you got to come on over to YouTube. We've also got great facial expressions and gestures, or so we are told. Tori says this is way more fun than Podcast Land. But Podcast Land, I got to say, we appreciate you. And some critics do say that if you close your eyes, this part actually looks better. So we have a question here. back to Web3 101, really truly for the start of the year. This is coming from James on Facebook. Hey, James, great to see you. Thanks for trusting us to help. He says, good morning, folks. Happy New Year. How would you explain Web3 to someone who knows nothing about Web3? I have moved my holdings to a cold wallet, but where do I go from here?
I'll take first crack at this. So if someone knew nothing about it, right, and they're just like, what's this Web3 thing? I heard I have to connect to it. First of all, that's a scam. Secondly, Web3
don't do it.
refers to anything that is built on a blockchain, right? That's the base level understanding, right? Anything there is Web3. Web3 is a term like the internet is a term, right? You go to the internet and there's websites and things built on it and services there. You go to Web3 and there's, services there, right? So think about it kind of like that. And then how to describe it is like why you may want to go and explore that world is there are a lot of services that you can find on the internet in this Web3 world that are cheaper and faster. And then you go, oh, like what? And depending on who you're talking to, maybe they're really interested in video games. You can be like, oh, like here's what Web3 gaming is and why it's kind of cool. Or if they're, the conversation is about investing, they're like, oh, this is a decentralized exchange and why it's cool, or lending and why it's cool. You can become a bank. Understand, if you know the person, understand what their interests are, and then align that to them. So keep it real simple, keep it personalized, and then, if they really want to dive into the weeds, if you're prepared to do that, go for it. If not, direct them to a source of education, and, that's your conversation, right? And they go, oh, okay, cool. Like, I thought it was just like a scam, and I thought this was like this crazy weird thing. It really doesn't sound too different, right? So just get rid of middlemen, cheaper, faster. It's kind of like services that are on the internet today, but built in this place where I have, more control myself. Oh, that sounds really interesting, right? Leave it there and let them go and continue their own education. That's what I would say do.
Alex, anything to add?
Yeah, I think not too much like from a explanation standpoint, but I'm becoming like, obviously, given all of the scam stuff that we've been talking about lately, I'm becoming like more and more and more opposed to the term Web3. I think that it's at this point it's doing more harm than good. Like Will said, it's this collective kind of marketing term used to describe a whole batch of different things. So honestly, at this point, I don't even really, if I was to like give someone an explanation from scratch, I probably wouldn't lean too heavily on that, except to say it's a marketing term and please be very careful of anyone advertising things to you with the phrase Web3 in it. Kind of always like trying to think like, okay, what's the like least amount of words that I can use to protect someone from getting hosed by something? And I think you kind of just gotta like, I think the term kind of just needs to, I don't know. I don't have like a strong, confident answer, I think, to feeling like, how would I feel good about the term Web3 being used and stuff? But I think just like Will said, it's a collective move to try to reclaim some sort of sense of digital autonomy in a world where it's just, our sovereignty online and, data-wise is being stripped away from us routinely. And some people are making a killing off of all of that, and we're not really privy to participate in any of it. So this whole thing is supposed to work on that problem.
Mm-hmm. Oh, another great example too is to bring it to stablecoins to open up that conversation. If they own a business, or even if everyone knows about businesses and everyone uses a credit card, be like, oh, you know how businesses get charged like 2 to 4% for credit card fees? You go into a store and you can't buy something for, unless you spend $5 or something because of the credit card fee. And they go, oh, yeah. Like, oh, well, in the world of Web3, we have these stable coins and it's just the dollar and you can use that instead of a credit card. And the business saves 2 to 4% because they don't have to pay the credit card fees. They have a much lower fee. Again, get rid of the middleman. They go, oh, cool, right? So that's what I'd say. Just find little personal examples here. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Alex.
That's the trick. Personal examples. Something relatable. There's so many different ways you could find a way to something that someone can understand and relate to a problem in their life. Like you said, their inflation, debasement, their savings account.
A savings account. I think your example of savings accounts is always a good one.
That's my go-to.
Yeah. And the term Web3. Sorry, I have one more point. But yeah, the term Web3 should just get wiped away. We should to onboard people onto Web3. We need to not say Web3, crypto, blockchain. Like all these words just need to go away.
You know what though? This is like an evolving opinion. I'm not married to this at all. I think we've kind of gone through the cycle of this, like, okay, let's use the term Web3 because it doesn't have the word crypto in it, and maybe crypto is like tainted and has a negative connotations to it. NFTs, same thing. Like, they're super cool, but they were used for a lot of not super cool things, and now that's the main association. So you say the word, you immediately just remind people of monkey in board shorts. I feel like maybe the answer is just to be more pointed about like actually what I think crypto is a fine word, and I think that if we allow it to sort of like be boogeyman as a word, then you just like you lose the ability to talk about something specifically and correctly. Like we are largely talking about the use of cryptocurrencies facilitated by a blockchain to do a thing, and that's okay. And maybe you've heard it. Plus, it gives you the opportunity to start the conversation off by talking about the nature of Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes and investment scams and frauds and all that stuff that we see that you might associate the word crypto with if you didn't have, the breadth of nuance to fully appreciate the entire scope of the concept, but you had just like seen the news. I think it's fine. Like, I use the word crypto all the time when I'm talking to people about it, like usually to ask like, hey, what's your gut reaction to the word crypto? And then that's always like an interesting place to start a conversation.
That's a great place to start a conversation. Yeah,
I agree. I actually feel like I use the word crypto. Like, when somebody asks me, most of the time they're asking me about cryptocurrency. I don't mind using Web3 in conversation, but I agree with you, Alex. I feel like it's time maybe we retire the word, or at the very least recontextualize it. We should always be giving context to all this stuff is the only thing I have to add. I was in the grocery store yesterday, and one of my neighbors, Jared, stopped me and said, "Hey, Evan, hey, what's the he said, what's the catchphrase you always say?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "On your show." And I said, "Oh," because he was saying hi to me. I thought, "Goodnow?" And he said, yeah, that's great. I said, yeah, I got it from Alex because we have a global audience, and whether it's morning or night, it's always a good now. And he said, yeah, man. So you're into cryptocurrency? I said, yeah. We teach people to become safe, confident crypto users, and it's a real problem because there's lots of scam information out there. He said, what really is it that you do? And I said, well, cryptocurrency, and I told him crypto was like the next iteration of the internet, exactly where we started with Web3. It was the next iteration of the internet where people would have the ability to truly own their information, because right now online we don't. And the same way your phone does more than calls, crypto will be so much more than currency. And he asked about NFTs. He was like, yeah, it seems like a lot of people want to buy or invest in crypto and NFTs. And I said, yeah. I said, and that's the most notorious use case right now. I said, but basically, crypto will help us to trust each other more in situations where we rely on intermediaries like governments and banks that might take advantage of us. I said, it'll help us to make information easier to verify, like in our town, in our city. I said it'll make payments faster, cheaper. It'll do a lot of different things, just like the internet. Calling the internet a phone book would be accurate, but it'd be limited, and then we were just like, we were chitting and chatting back and forth, and that's about where we ended in a 3-minute conversation. And I asked him, the last thing I asked him was, are you a crypto user? And he said, no, I'm not, but I'd like to learn more. I said, okay, good. Well, send me a message anytime. Please come back to the show, and let's keep the conversation going. If you ever have questions, don't hesitate to ask. My goal in a lot of those conversations too, in addition to like, Evan, shut up and get there quicker because I can talk about it all day, is I want to make sure that people have a good experience with it. If they feel like it's not for them, or they feel like they can't trust it, then they're not going to want to learn more. I think where most people I see get slipped up is they're excited about it because they understand it, but they don't have a lot of practice explaining it, and they try to explain too much too quickly. And they end up sounding untrustworthy or just unclear, and nobody really understands what's in it for them. I don't know if that happened to you guys. When you first encountered cryptocurrency, did it click for you the first time you heard about it? Did somebody explain it in a helpful way?
The first time I had it explained to me was actually by my roommate. And now my roommate's a very, very intelligent person, one of the smartest people I know. And he goes, oh, dude, he walks out of his bedroom, shirtless in his underwear, and he's on his phone, and he's on Reddit, and he goes, oh, dude, have you heard about Ethereum? This is 2017. And I go like, oh, no. And he's like, oh, it's like Bitcoin, but like you can make programs off of it. Like you can make applications on it. And I was like,
Beautiful.
oh, what? He's like, yeah, he said, yeah, people are saying it's programmable money. And I was just like, what? And that was it. I didn't understand it, but it was curious. I was really interested enough. And he's like, yeah, I don't really know what it is, but like that's what I see. And then I just went online and researched, and from like 10 o'clock at night until 3 o'clock in the morning, and then invested like every single penny I had into Ethereum.
Alex, do you remember when it was like explained to you? Not like when you first encountered it, because I seem to remember too. Like, Will, you first heard about it on a radio show in the car, like way back when.
Oh yeah, I first heard about Bitcoin driving to school in high school, and they were like talking about the Silk Road, and they're like, Bitcoin, it's digital money, and I remember hearing that, being like, oh, that makes sense. Everything's being digitized. Yeah. Still driving to school, and I was just like, I didn't know you could invest in things at the time, so yeah.
Yeah, Alex, what was it for you when you first got it, or when you first heard it and didn't because somebody explained it?
I never had an explanation. That was all self-discovery, but I do very clearly remember the conversation that got me like really interested in learning more about it, and it was explained to me by a friend of mine. I've known since I was in 5th grade, and he's a software engineer. And he built a blockchain with me in like a very tiny little, closed ecosystem one. He built one demonstrating for me like how the whole thing worked, and then explained why he was using it at work. He worked for UPS. And he was in charge of designing their, he was like one of the lead engineers on their navigation system, which is like this algorithm that they use for tracking efficiency in driving routes, depending on where drivers have to stop, and then planning like the most fuel efficient routes for all the trucks to take based on where they have to go in any given day. And he talked about using it specifically at UPS, a blockchain without tokens necessarily. They didn't really care about that part at all, but only for the process of mining to come up with unique tracking numbers because of how many get generated and how many problems can happen if the same one gets used more than once. And so they were effectively using a blockchain-like structure to guarantee that they were coming up with unique numbers because they needed a quadrillion of them. And they didn't want to have to like rebuild the system every couple of years. And so they were effectively mining tracking numbers using blockchain with all their own, like kind of all their own nodes and validators. It was really, really interesting.
Dude, that's so nerdy.
So he described that process to me, and then he built like a tiny blockchain. And then I knew my dad had talked about it before, so I asked him, and he also gave me a classic Alex's dad explanation to some stuff. And then, yeah, I found Ethereum before I found Bitcoin, because I didn't know, I had heard the word, but I didn't know anything about it. And I've told that story a million times.
Listen to Leif here in the comments and everybody else. Leif says, I was mining Bitcoin in 2009 while my avatar camped for Linden dollars in Second Life.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is so unbelievably nerdy and cool.
I was going to say super nerdy. Deconstructed says, I tried talking to coworkers about Ethereum. Bad idea. Bullet says, I tell people and they laugh, so I just walk on. Sometimes it happens, and I think it's a better deal to take an approach of like, I don't know. I think a lot of us come off like evangelists, like knocking on the door. Can I tell you the good word about Bitcoin? And I just don't think that's
best conversation starter with someone who is skeptical about crypto, or even if you're unaware. Just go. They go, all right, tell me about crypto. You go, first of all, 99.5% of the entire space scams and failed businesses, and then they go, oh. Okay, I'm right. I thought I was right about that. Okay, but like you know this, but you're still really interested in the space. Like, yeah, because that 0.5% is really cool. And they go, okay, you're not crazy. Let me hear what you have to say. Right? Like you
got to validate skepticism because most of it's right.
Because most of it's right. Start off. That's your first sentence, and then their entire demeanor changes. They go, oh, okay, all right.
I kind of like this as an accidental like. This is like the ideal question to like start the year off with, because we can all resolve to have more helpful conversations about this stuff this year, especially if we want any hope of being taken seriously by enough people to fix this goddamn market. Because it's rough out there.
What are you talking about? Everything's fine.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Speaking of which, do you guys want to see the yearly candle print for Bitcoin?
Oh man, yeah, I do actually.
It's really good. It's really good. Here it is.
Let me get the chart assist for.
It's so weird. So
you know what though?
Bitcoin on the year officially ended down by 6.5% on the year is where we officially ended the year. There it is. That's the entire. So that's the entire year. So many hopes and dreams all smashed by Binance's order books.
You know though, like that looks better than I expected it to look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. It actually
doesn't look terrible.
And if we're doing a silly TA contest, I would call that like the derpy dinosaur, like the Bitcoin brontosaurus.
Yeah, like the short bus dinosaur.
Yeah.
The short bus brontosaurus.
He's just making his way downtown, you know?
He is. That cute like little guy, man, he's trying his best.
Yeah.
He's gonna replace gold one day, that little guy.
His little stubby legs.
Little stubby legs. He's working, man. He's working. Nobody can tell him otherwise.
Yeah.
He's decentralized.
Evan,
Cute little snaky.
In response to your evangelist comment, Raging Cajun says XRP are the Jehovah's Witnesses. I like that.
Knock, knock. Yeah, I like that too. If your blockchain education feels like evangelism, you might need to try again. It was
Jasmine are Mormons.
Oh man. Tell us what religion your favorite crypto tokens cult following is, and let us know what questions you have.
Are you familiar with the flying spaghetti monster?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about the invisible pink unicorn?
No.
That one's new to me.
Ooh.
Is that like a niche atheist thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It's sort of. It's the joke is that well, it's invisible. You can't prove it's not there.
Yeah. Totally. I got it.
But it's there.
Ooh, wait. I feel like XRP, instead of being Jehovah's Witnesses, are the bronze cow that the followers of Moses were praying to before he came down with the commandments and like smited them. It's just like the false god. And then Michael Saylor comes down with his new commandments, his commandments. It's just buy Bitcoin and hold. And he goes, "What is happening here?" Something like that. That'd be good.
There was a
bronze calf. That was it.
There's a quick question earlier that was an interesting one. Someone was asking about, I think Pedro, I think it was you. Oh, and Jessica, I see you helping out too. Just asking about like connecting an Arculus to a business trust or an LLC or something. Really quick, there's no like tooling or program or anything specific like with Arculus that you would like do that. They don't differentiate between business or non-personal accounts. It's all the same, and it's actually a lot simpler than you would think. If you wanted to document that a wallet was being used to hold money or assets on behalf of a company, you just need to provide that address, and then you should be prepared to share a transaction report, which you could obviously get yourself anytime with a blockchain explorer. And that's really all you would need to do. It would just be used on your side for your records to keep track of your expenditures on behalf of the business. It's a good question.
It is a good question, and I often see stuff about like trusts and LLCs in like new to crypto, low literacy conversations. I feel like newcomers, one of the things that people think is necessary but really is not, is like you don't need that complexity. Just like you don't need to have your tokens off of Coinbase or Kraken. Like that's honestly a fine place for many people to keep their stuff. Go ahead, Alex.
I have a trust. It's a really intricate, very complicated one. It's a very specific kind. I genuinely can't even remember the entire list of adjectives that describe what kind of trust it is. I can honestly say that I have completely underutilized it. I've never run into an instance where I was like, I think they make a lot of sense in very specific situations. Like at the time that I got it, it was all like, it was related to owning a business that had no other way of documenting its existence. And it just ended up being unnecessarily convoluted, complex, and expensive. It was not worth it in retrospect. And even like the individuals who like build these trusts or help facilitate creating them for people will tell you, like, unless you're putting at least this many assets in and you have this much, you know, what's the word I want? You have this much volume,
Wealth.
like moving in and out of it, that it would make sense to use as a tax deferment method, because that's kind of the point, is deferring the payment of taxes by keeping things inside of this structure that is the trust. And whenever you withdraw things from the confines of the trust, that's when you would pay taxes on them, and you can kind of punt that can down the road indefinitely. And then it's really not worth it because they're very expensive to set up, like I said.
They are expensive. And you may not need one. They can be good. You may not need one. Today on Two Regular Dudes and a Rich Guy, we ask Will, is it true you need a trust? Is it true that when you fart, glitter comes out?
No. Although that would be really fun. Although every now and again I'll walk into a gay bar and that would give like a wrong signal. I go to a bar with one of my buddies who is gay, and gay bars are great. They're a ton of fun.
They are great.
Like with this mustache and I'm farting.
I was
out
gonna
glitter,
say,
that'd be too much. That'd be too much. Although the amount of free drinks I would get, which already does happen, it'd be fantastic.
Here for the free drinks. If you run a gay bar and you want to host a live stream there, we might do it for the price of free drinks. And we've got a guy who looks like Freddie Mercury. Alex and I will just hang.
Yeah.
Okay. Great questions coming in.
Wait,
yes.
Before we get to another question, I have some really kind of funny, to me it's funny, news about tariffs. So, breaking news. President Trump has signed an order delaying tariff increases on upholstered furniture, kitchen cabinets, and vanities for the next 12 months. Thank God. I was really worried about my upholstered furniture. I had to get so much of it. My vanities, my kitchen cabinets. Whew. Prices were too damn high on these kitchen cabinets. Honestly, they probably are. I don't know what they're going for. They're probably too expensive.
The cabinets are expensive, man, and well-made cabinets, especially so. Will, you got a comment coming up here on YouTube from Monsieur Panzer. Could be Panzer. Bro on the left, that imposing of a mustache cannot be presented next to mall kiosk katanas and lame fantasy novels, bro.
Lame fantasy novels.
Right, he says your katanas are from a
Ban
mall
that man.
kiosk, dude.
Ban that man. Ban that man. Get him out of here. Tori.
Shots
Fox,
fired.
ban this man immediately. Come for him. Bad fantasy novels. Sir, I have exquisite fantasy novel taste.
You're a loser.
Yeah, that's a wild
You're
comment.
a loser. Also, this is new. I got my taken apart Game Boy, my Pokemon Game Boy up on the wall. It's really nice. I like
What's
That's cool.
what's that? That's like a little deconstruction art.
Oh
like
yeah, it's just like an old school Game Boy that was taken apart, deconstructed bit by bit, and it's like the old school Pokemon one, and it's just like it's got everything labeled and everything. So
Yeah.
It's a little nerdy, little geeky, little Pokemon. Little
It's an
Game Boy.
IBP of a Game Boy. That's cool as hell.
This says a lot about the state of the world, and I'm sure it made some adults somewhere say kids are way too soft, but I'm pretty sure the first time I really remember having a meltdown or alone that wasn't related to being like lost in a store was when I was playing Pokemon on a Game Boy for the first time in, I don't know, like 1996 or 7 or whatever, and didn't realize that it was a battery powered device and that batteries could die, and it just turned off. And I was like, oh no, I spent all this time getting, to whatever place. I think I was about to, beat Team Rocket or something. And I just remember absolutely the pit of my stomach just fell. I remember calling my dad, like crying, being like, it just went away. I don't know what happened. And he was like, oh, the battery probably died. And I was like, okay.
It's like that
was
moment
terrible.
of panic when you fall off a cliff in Skyrim and try to remember when the last time you saved
You
was.
saved was.
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
Oh,
I remember this vividly. I was visiting my grandparents in North Carolina. We were at some beach town. I forget what it was. We had like a little family vacation, and we drove down from Alexandria, Virginia. And so I played
Hold
my
on.
Game Boy.
Timeout. I can't let that go because
What?
I have a feeling that you just rich personed all of us again, and we're
I
gonna
thought
gloss over it. Did you say North Carolina or South Carolina?
North Carolina.
Okay. Is your little tiny beach town in North Carolina the Outer Banks?
I don't remember.
Oh my God, you're so.
I mean, I was a kid,
rich.
right? And
Yeah,
so we
it
go
was
down.
the Outer Banks. This is Will telling us about
And-
his family vacation house in the Outer Banks.
No, we were in this hotel. And so we're in this hotel, and it was like crappy weather, so I'm inside playing my Game Boy. And I have had this stupid Kakuna. For those of you who don't know Pokemon, it's like a Pokemon that its only move is to harden. It's like a cocoon. and it just gets hard, and you hit it and it takes less damage, and that's it. And so I had this stupid Kakuna for forever. And then finally I'm in this hotel room and it evolves into Beedrill. And I was so overcome with emotions, I just started crying like profusely. I was like, ah! So I started crying so hard because I was so happy I didn't have this stupid Kakuna anymore that couldn't do a goddamn thing. And then finally I had Beedrill, and I was thrilled. Anyway, that was on the same Game Boy that's on the wall right there.
That's
I think about it every time. I think about just crying in that hotel room, being thrilled that I finally had Beedrill.
Peak life experiences right there. Yeah. I think something we can all agree on is that when you're a kid staying in a hotel, if it's like a hotel in another town, and you know it's got like sheets, it's not like a motel, it does make you think, we might be rich. We might be rich. Did you guys, I'm seeing a lot of comments just unrelated about XRP. Did you guys see, someone tagged us yesterday, Will, you and me, in a video on TikTok. And it was Zach Rector, the XRP guy. And
the real one? Not the real one.
The real one. It was the real one. It was like it appeared, it was not his legitimate account, but it was a repost of a real Zach Rector video.
Okay.
And you'd recognize him if you saw him.
Mr. Redfolder himself.
I'm looking it up to try and find it. He was talking through, apparently he and this other big XRP bull, Jake Claver, are having beef, and Zach Rector is out to like CoffeeZilla this guy and expose him as a fraud. And I watched probably more of this video than I needed to, but I was excited about it because Jake Claver, I have learned, as somebody who doesn't watch a lot of like XRP bull content, is one of the people most responsible for like XRP to $100, XRP to $10,000, and let me tell you why. He wears a suit, he runs a private equity business, and he's got hundreds of thousands of followers, and safe to say is not in touch with reality, or might just be a fool. And I guess they're beefing, and I don't know what it was about it that made me watch it, but I was like, damn, everybody holding XRP must be. So my question is, if you're an XRP holder, or you're in like the army, and you're more in touch than me, if you watch Zach, if you watch Jake, is there like serious beef on the timeline? Are we about to like split factions? Is this a real thing? I need to know.
Pretty recently, Jake, his like fraud admissions have been resurfaced.
He's admitting to fraud?
He's admitted to fraud in court before.
Okay.
Good.
Don't come for me.
Good.
Great.
Yeah, there was just some other
fine.
stuff on. It was some more like, court screenshots of documents where he admitted to, what the hell was it? It was an NFT related thing, and he like used it for profit sheltering, and then admitted in court that he manufactured the whole thing and it wasn't real. That was just posted like yesterday or the day before. I don't know. I would imagine maybe part of that is it. I don't know. I think I saw Gesundheit. I think I saw a TikTok video about it too. Someone grabbed some screenshots of fraud admissions.
Oy, oy, oy. Al XRP news. We could get that on a bumper. Rapid fire, Al XRP news. Thank you very much.
I looked up Zach Rector. Never seen him before.
Yeah. Okay. Well then.
I'm very unplugged from the crypto influencer scene.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a segment that I wanted to do. We talked about our predictions yesterday. We're going to be hearing from some of our friends in the coming days about their predictions. We've got venture correspondent Jeebs coming back to the show next Thursday. And that means we want to prep for it. One of my favorite sources of crypto knowledge, people are always asking, where do you learn this stuff, is A16Z. And A16Z is Andreessen Horowitz. They post on X. They have a podcast. They write articles. They're just about anywhere you could care to search on the internet, and they're a great source, a tier 1 venture capital company, funding a lot of the major crypto players you see. They're very tapped in. And they've got 17 things we're excited about for crypto in 2026. Seems like an odd number, but go off A16Z. I guess they're A16, so they needed to do 17. I want to hear which of these is most exciting to you. Yes, you. And of course, Will, Alex, you guys give me your input. Let me know if there's anything they missed. I'll try and do as rapid fire as possible here. Okay, A16Z says they are excited for better, more clever on-ramps and off-ramps for stablecoins. Thinking about tokenization of real-world assets and stablecoins in a more crypto-native way. Stablecoins unlocking the bank ledger. New payment scenarios. All three. Sensing a trend yet? Number 4 is internet becomes the bank. I like that. Number 5, wealth management for all. Number 6, from KYC to KYA. Know your customer to know your agent. I actually think that's going to be a big one. We'll use AI for substantive research tasks. There will be an invisible tax on the open web. Privacy will become the most important moat in crypto. The future of messaging won't be quantum resistant, but decentralized too. And then this one is really interesting. I've seen this phrase floating around Twitter: secrets as a service. Prediction markets go bigger, broader, and smarter. The rise of staked media, which I think has to do with creator tokens, which I'm just going to go ahead and And crypto offers a new primitive for use beyond blockchains. That one is exciting. Trading is a way station, not the last stop for crypto businesses. And finally, unleashing the full potential of blockchains when legal architecture finally matches technical architecture. Kind of esoteric there. I'm going to go ahead and put them up on the screen. Was there anything I said in there that made you say, yes? I heard you go, ugh, when I said about,
Yeah, and sorry, I wish I could roll my eyes harder at the last one.
It was the rise of staked media. Unleashing the full,
service. Like what is this?
Actually, secrets as a service. Let me see if I can find another article on this. The ones that I was most excited about, though, are this know your agent thing. I think a lot of internet commerce is going to be facilitated by like my personal GPT interacting with your personal GPT.
I'm curious, and this is a question for the whole family here.
Yeah.
Because I have an interest and a desire to experiment with some of these things. I've been given early access to a handful just because I was an early user of so many of these LLMs, and now they're all rolling out, like Perplexity, and then they rolled out Comet, and there's different ones for different brands and companies, whatever. They have their agent thing. But the thing is that you have to give it access to so much stuff, and that's been the deal breaker for me. And I don't know what it's going to take for me to feel comfortable doing. I'm curious if anyone has experimented with any agentic control of their accounts, because email is one that might seem innocuous, but I'm nervous about something happening and all of a sudden access to send on my behalf is given to a program that's new and relatively untested. Certainly nothing financial, signing authority in a wallet or control authority on my credit card or something to execute purchases for me. And I think the purchase one I can kind of, because you can monitor credit card activity, and there's fraud protection in place for that sort of stuff. So if you were using Amazon subscriptions or whatever, I could see that being the next iteration is a more conscious decision to restock on things based on just how you talk to your Amazon LLM or whatever. I could see that, but I don't know. I'm curious if anyone shares my sentiment that it's still too sketchy and I don't really know what it would take, or are you using it and maybe I'm overreacting.
Jay Heat says, my comment works all the time, but it's on a computer that is isolated. Bullet says,
what do you use it for, Jay Heat? I'm curious, and I know you're limited by TikTok comments, but I'm Bullet, bumper sticker list of things you let comment do.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I'd be curious.
Just
no.
Go ahead,
Will.
I'm not going to give up control to something that's hackable.
Yeah. Well.
Or something that could just do a mistake. While
something
I'm
that's
not paying
making
attention.
decisions.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, it would have
Sketchy.
to be, I would only be interested in something like what Jay Heat describes. We've talked about this before on the show, that the AI that would do that job would have to be a private key for crypto. It would have to have its own private keys. And its private key would need to only be responsive to me. One of the things that they're talking about here in Secrets as a Service, they have a little blog bit to accompany all these things where someone expounds on what they mean. And this is also something we've talked about for a while, that blockchains are going to need to be flexible and programmable. They're going to need to have like native rules they come with, but they're also going to need to meet your needs. Like if you're a bank, you're going to have different needs from your blockchain or from your AI. You're going to need it to be closed to certain people. You don't want everyone on the street to be able to see your customers' transactions. For example, you may want to have the ability to claw back a bad transaction. And so it's all going to have to be programmable and responsive. In the AI stuff, it's going to have to be responsive only to me or only to Alex or only to Will. And we'll be able to function as a go-between, because on the internet we're about to inherit, and in many cases the internet we have right now where nobody can tell what's real and what's AI, you're going to need a superpowered AI ally so you don't get taken advantage of by superpowered AI adversaries on the internet, because they're out there. What?
No, I just hate that that's going to be like, I need the AI to fight the AI, and then we're going to get the AI to make sure the code in the AI isn't becoming evil to hate us, but who's watching that AI? It's the other AI that's programmed by this guy, but that's not a guy, that's AI. And it's just like AI on top of AI on top of AI on top of AI, but AI is going to be here, so don't worry anyway.
It's the Spider-Man meme, but they're all AI.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You and I'm just like, ugh.
So the other one that I looked into here is staked media, and I thought at first it was like a creator token thing or whatever, but actually, Alex, this makes me think of you. This is the justification they give for the rise of staked media and what they mean. They say cracks in the traditional media model with its supposed objectivity have been showing for a while now. The internet gave everyone a voice, and their perspectives reflect their stakes in the world. Counterintuitively, audiences often respect them because of their differences, not despite them. Cryptographic tools that allow people to make publicly verifiable commitments will help us to go from simply relying on what people or bots say feels sufficient to what actually may be. They're talking about tokens, lockups, prediction markets, on-chain histories, building stronger foundations for trust for media. A podcaster can lock tokens to show they're not flipping or pumping and dumping something. A commenter can publish a comment with a staked token to show they're putting their money where their mouth is. Analysts can tie forecasts to markets and so on and so forth. You know, they say this is all very emergent, but I think that's going to happen too. That kind of thing. Crypto's coming everywhere. Everywhere. Amazing.
I have a little bit of news just because this is blowing up all over Twitter, and it's not really accurate. I've seen one good take on it. So over the past 12 days, this is financial macro stuff. And if you're not on Twitter, this might not be paying attention to it, but there'll be someone talking about this on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, I'm sure. But, you know, over last night, the Fed injected about $72 or $74 billion in repo to banks last night. People are like, this is the largest since COVID, and it's a sign that everything's breaking. The very last day of the year, every single year, is always the largest repo action by the Fed, no matter market conditions. The reason why is that banks will clean up their books a little bit. They won't take any private borrowing in an attempt to clean up their balance sheet a little bit by the end of the year. And instead they'll go to the Fed and they'll borrow more than they will. So in an attempt for them to kind of clean up their books a little bit before the end of the year, it ends up requiring them to borrow a lot from the Fed. And so the Fed was already doing repo, so it was normal repo action on top of traditional seasonality where the Fed gives a lot of money to the banks at the end of the year. And so you're seeing a lot of people being like, it's the smoking gun. And like, yeah, there are other things to be concerned about, but not this one. And it's like, a lot of people are saying, it's quantitative easing. Like, no, this isn't quantitative easing. They're pumping it directly into the economy. I saw some people post. I'm like, nope, that's not happening either. That's just the one thing to understand, right? This is seasonality on top of the regular repo increase that was happening at a fairly decent pace. And it's nothing to really be concerned about. And it's just a catchy headline with a bar chart that looks aggressive, and it makes for a flashy tweet or a flashy TikTok, and it's not really anything to be too concerned about.
That's good to know. I just did a quick search on Twitter, and I do see all the posts. Shocking year-end warning.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, there you go. It's a shocking year-end warning. The banks do what they do every year on this day.
And I do see Will Watson's repost of a very good take on the record-breaking repo market action by the Fed
Bull
last night.
Theory over on Twitter, Bull Theory IO had a good explanation of it.
And what's going on with the other repo thing that we were following?
Oh, well,
the
that
possibly
was...
JP Morgan story.
Oh, yeah, well, that's not... That's a little different. Nothing new has come out. Honestly, we won't have an answer on that until the end of January or the end of March, when we start to get some announcements from banks, because they don't have to disclose those types of things until they have to, right? Public companies have to disclose information, but they will do it later, So we probably won't have an answer to that until March.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
For those of
Okay,
you who are
well,
wondering what we're talking about is it seems that it was JP Morgan, but a very large US bank is in a very large unrealized loss position with shorting silver. And we know that JP Morgan has a $5 billion, at least at the time, it's actually a little bit better now, but a $5 billion unrealized loss on silver. However, at the same time, they also opened up a gigantic long position on silver as well, so they're probably fine. But yeah, so people are wondering like, oh my God, this US bank's gonna fail. Large US banks cannot fail. It's basically impossible ever since 2008. They'll get bailed out, everything will be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Yeah, Daddy won't let them.
Daddy won't let them. The thing that becomes a potential issue is, well, will that cause like a run on the banks for smaller banks because people get afraid? And we did see in 2023 that, smaller, medium-sized banks are still susceptible to runs on banks and potential failing, like Silicon Valley Bank in 2023. If anybody remembers that whole mess. But, so like that could possibly happen. But like, no, the JP Morgan will be fine. It's, more salacious headlines. However, market sentiment is important.
Yeah. Ixavello says, don't have to disclose. So another reason for blockchain? Yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Imagine if we didn't have to go chasing it down. It was just there.
Remember people committing like fraud for the first, not fraud, but like insider trading on the blockchain and people like immediately catching it. And I feel like, we didn't exactly know who the wallets were, but it was, I forget, was it like the Trump coin someone bought and sold immediately? Or it was like, it was just like a whole bunch of stuff. And we're just like, wait, these traditional folks are finding out that we're realizing that they're doing their insider trading immediately. And they're like, oh man, oh God, I wish I could remember the examples. Damn, it's not, without the context, it's not hitting, but there are just a few examples where people did insider trading and people immediately caught on to it, and I feel like it was a shock to the people
because
who
they were basically toddlers. They had no understanding that like how any of this shit worked, and they couldn't believe it when they were caught with their pants down because they didn't know that it was publicly available information. And then are you talking about like the infamous quote? I don't remember who said it, but the guy who's like, "Yeah, it was going down."
Yes.
Yeah, so I sold it. Yeah.
It was going down, so I sold it.
I think that was about the Libra meme token,
It was about
or
the
some
Libra
other
meme.
meme coin insider
One of the
who had never
heavily
held a meme coin.
insidered. Yeah,
It was going down. Any rational person would sell. That was it. And
Yeah.
he had pumped up the coin like on purpose.
Yeah,
I forget,
and then
like, he was, like,
immediately
promoting.
exited.
Yeah, and immediately exited.
Oh man,
Bro, what are you doing?
That was it. Any rational person would sell. I'm like, you know what?
Not wrong,
Fair.
bro.
Fine, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong, but you are a piece of shit.
But you
You
did
are a piece of
just
shit.
tell on yourself, no, turn around and let me put these handcuffs on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
One other update as well, and this is on a Poly market, but the chance that Morgan Stanley kicks MicroStrategy, now just Strategy, out of its index is at 76%, according to Poly market. Those of you who are unaware, that'll
Will it
put
what? Say it
Morgan
again.
Stanley would kick MicroStrategy out of their index.
Got it.
That's at 76%.
It blipped for me.
Yeah.
All good. And for those of you who are unaware, that would put a lot of immediate sell-side pressure on MicroStrategy as a stock, which is also continuing to fall ahead of this vote. And that would cause a lot of people to say, oh my God, they're going to sell their Bitcoin, and probably result in people panic selling Bitcoin. Or we'll see. Or it will mark the bottom perfectly. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out. It's about that time when we need to ride our dogs and ponies off into the sunset for this week. I am going to be hosting an after show in the Circle community for people who want to attend. If you've never been to an after show before, then just know that every week we get together in Circle, which is that website I'm always talking about when I say community.rumshq.com. It's a platform like Discord or a Facebook group, but a little more robust. We're going to get together on a little video call. It'll be like the Rise Up Morning Show, except with all of you. Smaller audience, but everyone's on stage. If you want to come up and actually ask us a question with your voices, you can do that. I'll be hosting it in about 15 minutes after the show ends until about 45 minutes after that. It's a mid-morning ritual for me and a Goodnow wherever you are. We'd love to see you there. The website is community.rums, R-U-M-S, HQ, or H, as my English friends would say, .com. The only thing missing is you. On our way out the door, let us know if you've got a final thought, a question, suggestion, a good joke, word of wisdom, or something else that might improve this fake radio show. One that critics say looks like PBS said, just fuck my shit up, man. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was thinking about how can I justify our fake radio show? And that was the one that came to mind. So what do you got, guys?
I don't know, but it's just like, if Michael Saylor, if MicroStrategy gets kicked out of the Morgan Stanley index and price falls down, oh my God, my girlfriend's Tamagotchi is dying. And I was like, what is that? I was like, my girlfriend's Tamagotchi is dying. It's crying out.
She let it die?
To mama. Yeah, it did die yesterday. It died at 7 years old. She had to start anew.
Oh my gosh, that would be devastating.
Yeah, she was a little upset. She's like, why did it die? And I was like, you literally scream at it 24/7. I was like, you hate that child. It's a Tamagotchi. Not an actual child. But yeah, but no, if MicroStrategy gets kicked out of the Morgan Stanley index and it goes down, and then all of a sudden Michael Saylor walks out with like another $500 million buy of Bitcoin, I feel like we should all buy a little bit of MicroStrategy stock. Because then when Bitcoin turns back around, guess what that stock's doing? It's probably outperforming Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's an interesting premium on Bitcoin, that's for sure. Or what's the opposite of a premium?
Discount?
A discount? Maybe?
Yeah, it would be a discount.
Yeah, it would be a discount. Alex, what about you? Have you got anything you're thinking about on the way out the door?
As always, I'm unprepared for a final thought, even though I know that it's coming. No, I don't know. There was a comment I just wanted to clear up a little bit. Hang on, let me find it. So Lexi in the comments was asking about Tether buying a ton of Bitcoin. Lexi, I just want to. You might be referring to a post from Paolo yesterday talking about how much Bitcoin was purchased by Tether during Q4. I haven't seen.
Oh, I see that. Actually, I have it right here. I can throw it up on the screen. Paolo Arduino, current, what is he, CEO of Tether?
Yes.
Says Tether acquired 8,888.888888 BTC in Q4 2025. And he's got the transaction hash right there. This is on X.
Yeah, that's Did they do it again? Because the specific post from him was about how much was added during the fourth quarter.
Q4.
Is it like a mirrored exact same purchase again today to like match the entirety of Q4?
No. I'm seeing a very recent post also showing it that just says 9,850 Bitcoin worth $876 million bought in total in Q4. Tether now holds 96,185 Bitcoin worth $8.42 billion, ranking as the 5th largest Bitcoin wallet.
It's pretty amazing.
Interesting.
And yet we're down.
Yeah, come on. Tether, can you buy more?
Buy more. Wait, no, actually don't. Wait, no, buy more. Wait, no, don't centralize all of the Bitcoin in one wallet. Wait, no, do it. Ah, shit, damn it.
No. Yeah. It's not a cause for concern, I would say, that Tether is buying Bitcoin on its face. It's good for Tether to have reserves like Bitcoin backing its dollar's value or its stable dollar's value. But it is concerning that they own so much.
I got it. Sorry, I figured it out. That is the entire amount that they purchased over Q4, but there was a single batch transaction today of all of it being transferred to the official like Tether treasury wallet. It was a transfer to their treasury done today. So it might be getting re-reported as a purchase, but that is pre-purchased Bitcoin over the entirety of Q4 moved today in one shot with that amount. So that's what it was.
I see. Yeah. Not a cause for concern. Love that they're using what I presume is secure cold storage, some sort of protocol for transferring their big Bitcoin. Trump Media. Sean Legend says Trump Media also bought a lot of Bitcoin recently. He said they know more than us. They probably have more power than you. I don't know if they know more than you, but they have more power than you. That's for sure. If you want to see wallets like that, you should go to Arkham, ARKM, .intel, I believe is the handle. They identify a lot of public wallets, notable people, notable companies, so that you can track the movements they do more easily on chain.
Could you imagine, Seavish says, hitting enter on that transaction? I was sending money yesterday for our year-end stuff, and there was one transaction in particular. Listen, this show is powered in part by our friends at Polygon, and we absolutely love them. We think they're amazing. But I have got to tell you, yesterday I was sending some USDC from the Polygon network over to Base. I was bridging it so I could pay everyone. And the first time I initiated a transaction, it timed out after 4 hours. And then the second time, it took 28 minutes. 28 minutes! I did a send instead. I was like, forget this. I sent it to Coinbase. And then I was going to, send it out so I could send it out on a different network. And, I mean, it was bearish. And it is at least the second time I have had a slow bridging experience from Polygon. So debridge somebody. Can we build better bridges?
Right. Yeah. I forgot about that Katana bridge was.
Well, and the Katana bridge is different. It's a totally different bridge. Also slow.
That is true. I forgot.
Takes some time. It's newer, so I have more grace for it. But we got to have better bridges to and from Polygon because they're moving money. You guys are moving money. So if it was just a send, it'd be easy. But I think it was a bridge. Was this a bridging problem or a chain problem? Honestly, Mike, I don't know. I'd have to look under the hood. I assume it's a bridging problem.
I would assume
because my send only took 28 minutes, but that I would say is still a problem.
Correct.
That seems just weird to me. It doesn't feel like it should be doing that.
I know.
There was
Mike says USDC to USDC should be fast. I know.
Yeah, right?
Go ahead, Alex.
Like everything that you said about how you did it, I was like, oh, okay, what was that like?
Coinbase wallet is where I initiated the process from. I knew it was like in a queue, it was sending, transaction failed 4 hours, then 28 minutes. Took me to send it to Coinbase from the wallet. So tried it. I was going to try it from Phantom next, but they don't play nicely, I don't think, with the Polygon network. Or maybe they do.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
They're EVM everything too?
Yep.
Yeah.
EVM everything. Well, I shouldn't say everything, but they have quite a few. The majors.
Two Think Out says maybe they need to use XRP. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, heck.
Alex, you were going to make another commentary on it. You want it to be your final thought?
Yeah, I was just thinking there was a recent, like a week ago. It was before Christmas. There was an RPC provider issue with Polygon that affected a handful of nodes. It was not the chain itself. It was a problem. I'd have to look. I don't want to misquote it and say the wrong thing. I'm not trying to FUD anybody. There was some sort of software.
Especially not a sponsor.
No. But I mean, we covered it at the time briefly because it was reported as something very FUD-like. It was reported as like Polygon, the chain downtime, which is not accurate. But again, a toddler's interpretation of a nuanced problem. But I wonder if there are lingering issues with some nodes and perhaps and I don't know. This is what I would look at. Maybe if some transactions are experiencing issues that maybe they're they still got routed to someone who hasn't pushed the patch yet or something. I don't know. I'm not enough of an engineer to say that confidently, but I would wonder if the two things are related just because the timing seems weird. It was I'd have to look. It was right before Christmas that it all happened. Chain never went down, but some block production never stopped, but it slowed down. And there was a handful of like endpoints that went offline or something. I'll look at it and put it in circle. But
I will say shout out to Coinbase, because despite the fact that I was moving around a lot of money from a lot of places, never had a single issue. So the exchange
speaking of the devil,
products in the wallet.
There's Mike. Mike would know more than me.
Mike would know more than me. That's true most days, though.
Yeah,
at least for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Feeling good about it? Feeling fine? The first show of 2026. It's hard to let it go, but I think it's that time.
Yeah. Today, I'm going to go open up an account on Kraken and start a small little DC over there and just kind of feel it. Just feel it out.
I'm very curious to hear your comparison.
I'm going to be like, man, there are a lot of tentacles over here.
Yeah, somebody get this ink out of my eye.
There's all this ink. Where's this octopus?
I like purple.
I like purple.
Okay, this is your last call. Head on over to community.rumshq.com. Join us in the after show to ask your question or just get to know us a little bit better. We will be back here Monday. I'm going to publish over the weekend. We'll probably publish it at Twitter, RumsHQ. Maybe we can put it on a TikTok story, put it on Facebook. A little schedule for the week ahead, the kinds of lessons you can expect, including, yes, the Jito tutorial. Special thanks to all the partners that make this show possible. I'm talking about Arculus, Jito, Polygon, Unlock Protocol, and the White Whale. Thank you so much for being such an important part of bringing this incredible programming to the people. And thank you, all of you, for being the very best part of what we do. Everybody, until next time, stay safe, be well, Happy New Year,